Together, let's embark on a scientific exploration of yoga, where you are the scientist, your heart is the laboratory, and you are the outcome. Welcome to Meditate with Daaji. This week we will put questions to Daaji. We have been receiving lots of questions from the viewers, and we have attempted to put similar questions together and put them in front of Daaji. Let's all try and make use of the wisdom and guidance of Daaji as he answers these very common questions that come to all of us. So let's start the question-answer session, and after that, like always, we will meditate with Daaji. The first question for Daaji is from Aditya in Chandigarh. Daaji, namaste. At home, my mother-in-law is strictly religious and gives a lot of importance to such things as fasting and eating sattvic food. I am not so convinced that eating vegetarian food and fasting is going to help me be a better person. My friends and colleagues are foodies, and I cannot make sense of what is right eating. Is it sinful to eat meat?
Aditya, thank you for your question. Your question truly resonates with the sentiment of our youth today when it comes to most of our customs. They say, don't tell me to do something. Instead, they expect us to explain why it needs to be done that way. The youth are looking for rational explanations, whether food habits, sleep cycles, festivals, or other cultural norms. As you say, and I quote your statement, that you are not sure if vegetarian food and fasting will make you a better person, and I unquote your question. My question back to you is, do you know what will make you a better person? Think over this question and list all the changes you need to implement to become a better person. Answering oneself what will make me a better person is an excellent exercise to undertake. Now, coming to the topic of vegetarian food, let me ask you this. What is a shared habit between all these athletes? You know about Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, Tom Brady, Colin Kaepernick, Lewis Hamilton, and the great Virat Kohli. They have several things in common. Number one, they are all at the top of their games. Number two, they are immensely successful. Number three, all of them are vegetarian, if not vegan. All of them shifted to a plant-based diet and achieved better results in their sports. Look up the documentary Game Changers or Forks Over the Knives on Netflix. These shows talk about the virtues, benefits of a plant-based diet. The same goes for fasting. The world today is going gaga over intermittent fasting. It's a time-tested eating habit, and so on. Many centuries ago, when these lifestyle practices were adopted in India, our elders knew the benefits of such practices. They knew how these practices related to fasting would help people stay healthy. To ensure that people adopted these good habits, they were made a part of religious rituals. Over time, the knowledge of why we fast or eat vegetarian, why we put oil in the nose, light up camphor, etc., was lost. But the rituals continued. The fear of God kept people following something that was, in effect, beneficial for all the health. So today, when our youth questions some of these traditions, our elders don't have answers that appeal to the youth hearts. As a result, there is conflict. It is good to ask questions, but it's better to find an answer before rejecting things altogether. So, my suggestion is if you want a healthy body and overall good health, being vegetarian is advisable. Aditya, there is nothing wrong with being a foodie, and India is blessed with abundance of vegetarian options. Even a whole life will be less to taste everything vegetarian that's out there in our country. Don't let peer pressure get to you. Please make your own decisions and learn from them. The other part of your question touched upon right eating. To me, right eating is all about the attitude with which one eats. Are you mindful of the process of eating? Is the question. Here are some suggestions for you to try out. Try to follow them for a few weeks and let me know how it goes. Firstly, before you eat, please close your eyes and, with a lot of love in silence, thank God for the food you have in front of you. Since it is almost impossible to be thankful to all those who made that food available to you. So many people in the world are hungry. If you are among the lucky ones to have good food, it's appropriate that we express gratitude to Almighty. In our ashrams, visitors from Africa, they tell me that they are lucky if they have one good meal a week. The fights in the family are over who gets to eat today. Can you imagine how painful it must be for a father and mother? Secondly, try and eat with the rest of your family. Avoid phones or television during food. When you eat, be mindful of the food in front of you and pay attention to what others may need. Try to carry the feelings of gratitude with you while you eat. And finally, after you finish eating, with a heart full of love, silently thank all the people who made it happen: Mother Earth, the farmer, the cook, the waiter, your wife or your mom, and anyone else who comes to mind at that moment. Do these steps, and they will give you some hints to your question on whether eating meat is sinful or not. Think over what is sin, and let me end your answer with one beautiful quote from Swami Vivekananda. He said, look at a tiger and look at an elephant, grass eating elephant. See how that elephant moves in the jungle, calm and peaceful. And look at the movements of the tiger. You know the answer now. Okay.
The next question is from Himani in Ahmedabad. Will going on a yatra or pilgrimage help me in my spiritual journey? My family is planning to go to the Himalayas after lockdown to pray and get the blessings in temples. Unless I go to these holy places, how will I gain benefit?
Himani, namaste. I wish you safe travels. These are challenging times, no doubt. So I hope you and your family don't rush into travel and end up having unnecessary challenges that can be avoided in the very first place. The Himalayas and the other places of worship are mostly scenic attractions. The fresh air and rejuvenating surrounding, they are a good change. One also gets to learn more about the richness of our Indian culture. To your question about going to holy places to gain the blessings of the Lord, I think we are underestimating God. If a simple honey bee can find a flower hidden under a rock in a dark cave and seek the nectar of it, do you think God is any less capable of finding a devotee who is praying with a heart full of love? You know, these heat seeking missiles shoot in the air and it will find wherever that heat generated, it will target that object. If unintelligent, just mechanical device can find the target, why not God? If you sit in your prayer room at home and with overflowing heart, full of love, you silently call the Lord. do you think he would not respond? Did you try this? From childhood, we have been taught stories that God is everywhere, omnipresent. You know the story of Prahlada, how his father tested him. The story of Dhruva also teaches us the same thing. God is everywhere. So he ought to be in your heart too. You can imagine him in your legs or in your, in your liver, but you won't be able to feel their presence except in the heart, because the heart is the organ where we feel things, we experience things. I suggest you do this. Once the lockdown is over, before you go anywhere else, far away, go a few kilometers away to Adalaj and meditate in our ashram there in Ahmedabad. Do this for a few weeks and see what answers you get. We have many ashrams across India, across the globe. Those who are listening from Meerut or Jaipur, they can find out where our ashrams are. Then go there and meditate and see for yourself. Is it really necessary to go that far? Then later on also you will learn, should I be going to ashrams every day? You will get your own answers then. See. Then after that, when you go to the holy places, meditate there also. See for yourself what you experience. I sincerely pray that you find what you seek and much more.
Now, let's all meditate with Daaji.
You all know how to meditate, and perhaps some of you do not really know how to meditate in joining us for the first time. This is how we meditate. Heartfulness way of meditation. It's very simple. Feel relaxed. Remove all the distractions if you might have. Something like phones. And focus on the presence of divine light in our heart. Think that this divine light is attracting your attention inward, and retain this thought as long as you can. If by chance you happen to move away from this noble idea, when you're overwhelmed by so many thoughts, just remind yourself that right now I am meditating on the presence of divine light. Please start meditation. basically, that's all.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Meditate with Daaji. See you again next week.